In terms of brutally bad calls, I would say last night's on Philadelphia, a top-rated 15-dime best bet, number 8 out of 12 this postseason for yours truly. I would say that would rank among the top 5 of the NBA playoffs for me. Obviously, the 76ers, I thought the 6-day layoff would definitely be in their favor. It was not. They were caught sleepwalking, and the Celtics, just 2 days rest after that grueling 7-game series against the Bucks. Obviously, it paid off. They were the team primed to go. I don't think that series is anywhere near over. And for those of you that laid 440 on the Sixers in that series, you better hope it's not over either. But last night, not one of the better games played by the Sixers. So we'll wait for game number 2. Now we've got 2 games going here tonight, but I've got to tell you something, guys. I like both games. I'm going to talk about both games, but personally, I think the best bet is in baseball tonight. In fact, I think the best bet is so strong in baseball tonight. Normally, a 15-dime best bet is my top selection, and 99% of my plays are rated between 5 and 15 dimes. I'm going to raise the bar. I've got a rare 20-dime play. How rare? I went back through my records last year for as good of a baseball season as it was, and you know how profitable baseball is for me. It's my best sport because it's a sport I've simply made more money in long before I ever was in this business. It's my first 20-dime release in 2 years. And that's going to be one of the featured discounted plays today using coupon code RAISE, R-A-I-S-E. You get it for well over half price off. It comes down to just $24. You save $75 off the purchase price by using that coupon code. Now, in terms of who's got the big play in hoops tonight, that would be Jack Brayman, who has top-rated 100-dime winner number 17 out of 24 on the Pelicans and Warriors. You get it for over half price off as he goes for winning day number 36 out of 56 by using coupon code JACK. All your other discounts and promos are over on the homepage. So without further ado, let's start talking about tonight's game, shall we? Let's do them in reverse chronological order. Let's talk about the late game between Golden State and New Orleans. Now, Golden State, of course, gets Steph Curry back in the lineup tonight for the first time since March 23rd. On Sunday, I gave you a free selection on, in game number 1 in this series, I actually was on the wrong side. I had a 15-dime best bet on the Pelicans. And in watching that game, and the following day on the video report, I mentioned to you that I thought that the biggest problem in that game was the tempo, the pace. Now, New Orleans likes to play fast. Well, liking to play fast and being able to do so against a team that can do it so much better than you, therein lies the rub. Because as I watched the game and I saw the tempo, Golden State, it was like, hey, you want to play fast? Thank you very much. Because there's a Warriors team that their biggest problem this season was their defensive intensity and their focus. And prior to the game, you saw where Steve Kerr inserted Nick Young into the starting forward spot. He put Andre Iguodala at the starting point guard spot. He took JaVale McGee out of the lineup at starting center, moved Draymond Green over. And instead of worrying about the defensive lapses his team had, he instead basically gave the Warriors a green light to accelerate the tempo. And once the Warriors started running, it was game, set, match, especially in that second quarter. Well, tonight, of course, you're going to have Steph Curry back at his normal starting point guard position. That is just going to rev up this Warriors offense all the more. You know, the Warriors averaged almost 14 points more per game with Curry in the lineup this year. This is not the type of game that the Pelicans can get into. Alvin Gentry wants to keep that high-octane pace. It ain't going to work, guys. Listen, Jrue Holiday and Rajon Rondo were great at attacking Portland's inferior defense, especially on the inside, down the lane. It's not going to work with Draymond Green and Kevin Durant there blocking access to the bucket. You look at Jrue Holiday. In fact, in game number 1, I came across a great stat. Jrue Holiday in the Portland series averaged a little over 27.6 assists, right? 4 for 16, 11 points in game number 1 of this series. When he was guarded by Kevin Durant, 1 for 9 and 2 points in the 37 possessions where Durant was on him. 3 for 5 and 9 points in the 31 possessions when anybody else was on him. Nikolai Mirotic, only 9 points on 3 for 9 shooting with 8 rebounds against Klay Thompson and Draymond Green and anybody else they put on him. Those two guys were so crucial in the Portland series because they took the offensive load off of Anthony Davis's shoulders. And as I pointed out, even though Davis had a nice game with those 21 or 22 points in game number 1, he only got 4 free throws because the lane was blocked off. He wasn't able to do his work inside. I don't see anything different here tonight, and I see it only getting worse with Curry's return. So my way of looking at this game, if you're going to play it, you got to lay it. So go with Golden State. Warriors are the play there. Also, keep in mind that when Curry was in the lineup this year, this Warriors team averaged 1.24 points per possession, easily number 1 in the league. Now we get to the elephant in the room, and that is the early game between Toronto and Cleveland. Now you know what Cleveland has done to Toronto the past 2 years in the postseason, going 8-2 versus the Cavaliers. But it's a little bit of a role reversal because the past 2 years it was Cleveland that was the rested team coming into the postseason. And what happened is that Cleveland smoked Toronto in game number 1 in each of those 2 games. In fact, in the series opener the past 2 years, the Cavaliers won those 2 games by a combined 42 points. But last year, they had a solid week off before the series opener. 2 years ago, they had 8 days off. Role reversal this time. It's the Cavaliers coming off the draining series against the Indiana Pacers. Another bonus, I think, for Toronto is that in game number 6 against Washington on Friday night, they finally got the leader of their second unit, point guard Fred Van Vliet, back. I'd like to see you say that 3 times quickly. Fred Van Vliet back after playing just 3 minutes because of a nagging shoulder injury in the first 5 games of the Washington series. He returned to playing 19 minutes in Game 6, struggled with his shooting, only 5 points and 2 for 7 for the field, but 4 assists, 4 rebounds. But the second unit was plus 12 in those 19 minutes, and that's the key. Toronto's second unit, their bench, the 5th most productive in the league this season. And that ball distribution, rather than relying on DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry as in previous seasons, that's what made the Raptors so dangerous offensively this year. And that's going to be the key to this series because you saw Cleveland's bench, big deal. It produced in game number 7 against Indiana, but otherwise, what has it done for you lately? Answer is nothing. So I think that you have to go ahead and take Toronto. Would I put my money on the Raptors? I'll tell you what. Toronto still has some question marks. Has anyone had a sighting of Serge Ibaka? Put it on APB. I mean, you haven't seen him really since game number 1 of the Washington series. I mean, he absolutely disappeared through the rest of the series. 7 for 22 for 20 points in the final 4 games of that series after scoring 33 points in the first 2 games. They've gotten nothing from him. Nothing from Ibaka in the latter part of that series. Is he going to show up in this series? So, for as good as the bench has been, for as productive as it has been, for as good as DeLon Wright has been off the bench, the Raptors still have some holes. And for as tired as LeBron James has been, you know LeBron's going to bring it here tonight. And that line is up to 7 points. So it's a scary number. So if the 2 plays, the official free play, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be the Golden State Warriors. In baseball, here's a play for you. Why not lay the 145 to 150 on the run line with the Boston Red Sox? Why not? Sooner or later, they're going to start giving Chris Sale some run support. It's only his 3rd home start of the season. He has a 1.64 earned run average in his first 2 at Fenway. Jacob Junis, the second-year guy for the Royals, had a 2.03 earned run average in his first 4 starts, but then he gave up 6 runs in 5 2/3 innings in his last start Thursday, and it was against the weak-hitting White Sox. He had a 5.03 earned run average in his rookie season and 11 outings on the road last year, 9 of which were starts, pitched much, much better at Kauffman Field a year ago. Red Sox won last night's opener 10-6. That's their biggest scoring output in about a week and a half. I just think the Red Sox offense, which had kind of hit a little bit of a lull, it's time to ride them in this spot. So I'm going to take the Red Sox on the run line as your other official complimentary play, going along with Golden State. That'll do it. Wish you well and talk to you again on Wednesday.